Hey everyone, quick announcement this week about the episode. We actually recorded this live with stream going on. So if you'd like to, you could switch over to the live stream. You can watch me and Dave. We actually incorporate some of the articles we go over, and it's just a new thing we're trying here. Also, because of that, we had a little bit of audio issues, but should be okay. But like I said, it's usually a little bit better if you do watch it. So you can go over to youtube.com/user/theamphour, and also don't forget to subscribe if you think you might like this kind of thing. We probably are going to try this again in the future. On to the show. This is the Amp Hour Podcast, released September 18th, 2017. Episode 360. A total 360.
Welcome to the Amp Hour. I'm Dave Jones from the EEV blog.
And I'm Chris Gamble, but we have not yet started.
we haven't shown our faces.
Yeah.
There we are.
Hey.
Hey.
So we figured we'd be doing a total 360 here. That was so lame.
That's very, but it is episode number 360.
It is 360.
And I now have the link, and I'm going to tweet it out. And we are live.
Mm-hmm. So we're
live,
and we're trying to. I mean, so the real reason, and the beneficial thing here is that the reason we're doing this in the first place is because Dave now has NBN, man.
Yeah, but my connection was good enough before.
I know, but it's just a way to celebrate it, right?
Yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yep. So should we explain the mechanism how we're doing this? We are using
internet.
The interwebs.
Oh,
this newfangled interwebs thing.
Hey Dave, I hate to tell you here, buddy. I have not started recording on Audacity yet. Did you?
Neither have I. So let's start recording on Audacity. There you go. Thanks for reminding us. There we go. We're now recording on Audacity as a backup.
Yeah, we're we can cut into this now. Let's get that from the top one more time, huh?
No. Keep going. Come on. It's live.
So I'm gonna play Dave's part in the radio drama at the end.
No, it's all right, good. So what we're doing here, normally we use Mumble, which is like a gaming, streaming audio thing, to hear each other. Mm-hmm. We don't normally see each other when we do the show, but we can hear each other live. It allows us to talk and allows us to stream guests, listen to guests, and record guests as well. Right. And so we're not using Mumble today. We're using Skype, just like we did back in Amp Hour number 1, didn't we?
Yeah.
We used Skype and it was horrible. The lag was just...
I mean, everything was bad then, though. I mean, like,
yeah.
Well, people can go listen to it. I mean, we've come into our own in terms of comfort and talking to each other, I suppose. You know.
Yeah. But the tools have improved, and Skype seems to work just fine now. Although I can't watch myself if I'm watching the Skype screen, but it's my feed being fed to Chris, which is then being fed back to me. So I've got to look at my XSplit screen. We're both using XSplit. And that's what Chris is streaming to our Amp Hour YouTube channel.
Yes.
And I'm using XSplit to feed the video from XSplit into...
Right. Dave doesn't need to be using XSplit, but he's doing it as a backup.
No.
So.
But I'm doing... Yeah. Oh, I haven't recorded locally.
Again, still.
Here we go.
Well, this is the thing. So, and the great thing about Mumble, what we got into, what people don't know behind the scenes is that our asses have been saved multiple times by having backups on backups on backups, and so we're going a little bit loosey-goosey here. I guess we have YouTube. If you can hear us on YouTube, then you can hear us, right? So
right.
So that's
well,
good.
I'm going to call it up now and see if we can get the chat. So I'm going to
right, and that's the different thing. So
I'm going to mute it there.
Yeah.
And I'm going to open up the chat. Is there anyone there? I can't see any messages at all. Oh, chat. No, there it is.
3 people are watching. 3 whole people are watching, Dave.
3 whole people. I'll do the pop-out chat. There we go.
Yeah.
So I've got the pop-out chat now. So
there we go. There's some people now. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Hello, world. There we go.
Yeah.
We're chatting. What's up, nerds? From Mark Smith.
Yep.
G'day. What we should do is actually we should have figured this out before. We should include the chat window on Skype.
No.
No?
Hell no.
No, what too hard or just?
No, that's like it's like just allowing people to type whatever they want. No, we don't. We don't
Oh,
need.
right. Okay.
We don't need
well,
any.
I've done that with live shows
rogued-
before, and
yeah. Okay.
it's been okay. But yeah, we could get ASCII penises or
Yes, right, of
something
course.
like that. You know. Yeah.
Well, so what we should say here though is that if you are, if you're listening or watching or whatever, and you're participating on the chat, we always ask for questions. We try to ask for questions on Twitter beforehand. But if you get any questions, if you have any questions there, just let us know. So we
Okay.
can get them there.
Stefan says the audio for Chris is nice and clear, but Dave, you're like having a cold. Well, I am
That's
still
actually
getting over.
Australian. He's Australian.
That's
so,
Australian.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I actually get really distracted. So I do some live streaming once in a while for Contextual Electronics, and I get so distracted because it's just like I'm just like looking at the chat and my face goes blank and whatever. So
Oh, here's a loaded question straight up.
no, do not read those.
What?
Let's try and keep on electronics for your people. You know.
Electronics, yeah. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
All right. So it's weird watching the stream come in. So I'm recording video locally. I'm recording audio locally
Yep.
using Audacity, recording video locally using XSplit. I'm streaming XSplit into Skype. You're streaming Skype to YouTube. I'm streaming YouTube back to me. So I'm seeing that delayed feed. It's just, wow.
It's a lot. Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff involved in just doing this.
Right.
It's
and
not.
when I think about it, so when I talked to Rick on the server farm person, Rick Alter, it was like we are just benefiting from just so much capacity, right? Like why are we streaming video from Australia to Chicago to God knows wherever the YouTube server is, right? I mean, like this is just abundance of technological ability. So
Yep.
yeah.
You're very unprofessional there with your microphone covering your face. What are you hiding?
I got a
You should.
lip job. Yeah.
Yeah. It's,
My mic doesn't go any lower, man. So.
oh, really?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Right. Well, that's it. Yeah, mine's just here. You can probably see the top of the.
Mm-hmm.
No, you can't because Skype actually crops the video.
Yep.
So it's just showing my head, whereas my XSplit feed I'm feeding in is actually much larger than that.
Yeah.
So,
Anyways, that's enough about
anyway.
video. That's enough about setup.
Yep.
All
all right. This
so
is
we
live
always
amp
go,
hour.
and so what I can also, what I can show people here is that we always go off our subreddit, right? So we have our subreddit here. This is what we see. This is what we go off of each and every week. So
Well, kinda.
That's true. I got some stuff that's actually not on here this week.
We start out with that, and then we just go off on
just-
tangents.
yeah, right,
You know.
right. As we do. Yeah, and so this is always a good place. If you, I don't think we'll switch over to doing too much visual stuff, just because. Well,
Yeah. Right. Screen capture stuff. Yeah.
well, not only that. I mean, like if we start talking about stuff that's on screen, then people who are used to audio
Who
then lose out.
listening to the amp hour? Well, right. We've still got an audience for the amp, but we'll still export this as an audio stream
That's right. Yep.
and send it to the amp hour. We'll probably just do that from YouTube because we don't want to have to edit the thing, right?
Yeah, we don't want to have to edit. Wait,
You.
Wait, now
Yeah,
that, now,
don't
that,
wanna-
now that we have video, I can. Yeah, we don't want to have to edit.
We.
Right, Dave.
For
Pointing at the
those who
camera.
don't know, Chris is the one who does all the heavy lifting on the amp hour. I just turn up at the last minute and press record.
Dave's the talent. Dave's the talent.
And I'm on the talent, right? Yeah.
Well, so what's going on with you, man? So what's new? I mean, electronics. Anything in your realm these days? You got your DMM going on?
I got my DMM going on. I'm about to release. I'm getting 50 manufactured. I've just put in the
Ooh.
purchase order to get 50.
Is that the
and
early release you were talking about, or is that something
That
else?
of the early release, yeah.
Okay.
So 50 people scramble to buy that first up. 25 will go to my patrons, and probably 25 to forum supporters, even though they're kind of sort of the same thing. So early backers will get. Well, they're not backers because I'll probably just do it through my EV blog shop.
Oh, okay. So just a
I'm
straight
actually-
purchase, yeah.
Yeah, I'm finally about because I want meters in people's hands so that they can, we can get feedback on that before we go and do the crowdfunder. I'll probably do the crowdfunder at the same time, but before we push the button on like making a couple of thousand of them, I would like 50 people to have them in their hands and go, hey, look, something's wrong.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, I mean that's user testing.
Because it's impossible to test your own stuff.
Right, you're too close to it, right?
Yes, so too close to it. So, like probably find that, simple things and totally missing when we actually get them in people's hands. And hopefully, like, the hardware should be right. But yeah.
I mean, how many revs has there been?
I've got I haven't put them all together. There's got to be 7 or 8 at least.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and they're sending me another one this week just because we changed one part on it. So they're going to ship another.
Okay, so these are like small manufacturing tweaks, or these are
just very, very small changes. Okay. Yeah, only once have we completely revised the whole thing when we changed the processor from a PIC 24F to an ST ARM micro.
So one of my friends is a fan of yours, and he was complaining the other day. He's like, yeah, man, I use the same processor that Dave's using in that meter, and I can't find any in the world. And I'm like, that is not why that's happening, right? He was talking about in distribution though, right? And so it's like one of those things.
I haven't looked.
Well, yeah, but what it really is just that. I mean, I don't actually know which variant it is. I know it's STM32.
I can't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, but whatever. Is it F3, F4, something? Probably F4.
Isabel.
Yeah. That's like a Cortex M4, and those are nice. I mean, they're nice parts. They're cheap as hell. They're great, right?
But this one's a specific variant because it has the LCD driver built in for that supports the big number of segments I need.
Right, and so that's ultimately. So it's it feels like it's this thing where it's like, oh, they're all gone because they're in this one thing I know about. But in reality, it's just in distribution. They just don't stock these things. I would think if it really takes off because of that, right? So if people started designing it in more and more and more,
I doubt it because it's a specific part.
Right, exactly.
Not everyone's going to need all that LCD stuff. If you don't need that LCD stuff, you got to pay extra
for it too, right? I mean,
you pay extra, and it's a larger pin count, one with higher pin density. You just don't want that.
Yep.
So
right, and so that's what I mean. He knew that too. He was just joking about it, but it's like one of those what's it called, like an observation phenomenon type thing, where you think that you're looking at the same thing everybody else is looking at, but it's in reality it's just that those parts aren't available most of the time. You have to order them special from the factory either way, right? You probably had to put in, or your manufacturer had to put in a couple.
Yeah, I don't have any visibility in that. They order it. They're in Korea. So where's ST? ST is not a Korean company, so.
ST manufactures, I think, at TSMC these days, but they are based out of the Netherlands. No, they're ST Micro.
They've probably got multiple fabs.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, but south of France, Italy. I don't know. Whatever.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's great.
Cool. So yes, so that's happening. And I just took photos the other day. I am actually I was going to do a crowdfunder. You've seen this like a year ago. It was my sleeve, my little ESD sleeve for storing components, in the ring binder thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you remember? Yeah, I was going to do a crowdfunder for that, and things just got in the way, and I never got around to doing it. And some people have asked, hey, why don't you just throw it on your store? So,
that's good.
All right, I'm just going to put it on the store, So I've done a second channel video. I've already done a video announcing it, but I haven't put it on the store yet. So that'll probably happen today or tomorrow.
Titan of industry here, folks. So, yeah. Oh, look at this. We got some useful feedback here, too. Mark Smith says ST Micro is a French-Italian multinational headquartered in Geneva from Wikipedia. Look at this. We can have people Wikipedia stuff for us, Dave. Yes!
Yes. All right. Our minions are doing our work for us.
Yes.
Our Oompa Loompa listeners.
No. You could never call them that.
No. I just saw you do the arms. I think we've got like a 30-second delay, 20-second delay on the YouTube stream. Whatever.
Oh, I'm sure we do. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, do we have electronics? So I'm doing that. I'm stocking. I've got another pocket multimeter I'm reselling. So I did a little unboxing review of that. I put it on the second channel.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah, no, I saw that thing. Yep. It's just like a little cheapo, right?
No. It's probably one of the most expensive pocket multimeters you can get. It's high end, top of the line. The reason I decided to stock it is because you couldn't buy it outside of Japan. I tried to get it for my pocket multimeter shootout, and I was like, and I love this little thing. It's great. It's bloody expensive. Like the wholesale price from the manufacturer. The reason I'm going to sell it so high is because the high price from the wholesale price straight from the manufacturer. I'm buying it directly from them in large quantities, and it's still
right. So it's just a cash outlay, and it's like a bunch of cash.
So anyway, it's top of the line premium, and you couldn't buy it anywhere else. So I thought, I'll stock it.
Okay.
Why not? If it doesn't sell, it doesn't sell. I don't, it's just, I'm always looking for like stuff like that for my store, stuff that's not easy to get elsewhere, and it's sort of premium, like, because I don't want to go be selling a $10, $20
right. You're not doing
cheapo meat. You just can't compete with eBay and everything else. It's just not worth it.
Right.
So, so I thought, hey, that's a nice meter. If you want a top of the line one,
great.
It's now available outside of Japan.
Nice. That's great. I had a question for you. Here, I can actually show you my little screen. I started doing this map here, and so like I've been
for concept.
Yeah. So like, okay, so basically, this first build was actually first prototype, right? So we've talked about this in the past of like, so you got an idea, you got a proof of concept, right? And so I said ideas like just system doc, whatever. Proof of concepts like when you're putting stuff together. One-off build. So basically what I was trying to do is map out the different YouTubers in this space, right?
See, I wouldn't do the one-off build. I would skip one-off build entirely there. The proof of concept is you've already breadboarded or veriboarded the thing.
Right.
Like, so that's it. I'd jump from that straight to the production PCB, really.
I totally agree, and I do that as well. But what I'm saying is that some people do this. So I was thinking about Great Scott, right? So I was watching one of his videos, and so like he does those like one-off builds where they're really nice. They're usually modules that are wired together. I was watching like one of the power supplies ones.
How does he build his boards? Because I'm not a regular watcher of his.
He does Veriboard with
Veriboard.
Yeah, with solder bridges.
Okay.
So,
right.
Right. And so that's the kind of thing where it's like these are like the different things. So like idea and proof of concept, I'd put that in like the Ben Krasnow area, right? And then somewhere between proof of concept and first prototype, I'd probably put you there, maybe even higher than that, because you also do some production level
first
stuff.
Prototype wouldn't be a milled PCB.
But, so it could be also do a fast turn PCB or a cheapo PCB, whatever it is. Right. I agree, but I'm just saying that like first prototype's that, then probably like second prototype's like 3D printed or 3D printed case and more integration. Maybe you pull modules onto the board then if you're starting to use modules, and then start going to production level stuff. But I was just wondering about like if there's a better word for that one-off build thing. That was just what I came up with. I'm not sure if there's an actual name for that stage.
All right. I don't know.
No? Okay. No?
Yeah.
Maybe the audience will know. Really abusing that today. So I'm trying to just kind of map out the YouTube space too, because it's kind of interesting to me of like, I mean, in full disclosure, I was thinking about like, well, so my course is kind of more in the you're ready to finally make a PCB, but like most people shouldn't start there, right? Like most people should be doing proof of concept or one-off builds, that kind of thing of like, like you shouldn't usually skip that step unless you already know what you're doing, right?
Yes.
And so like someone like you, of course you already know what you're going towards. You might be, or if you've got a build that you've done in the past and you're updating it, right? If you're going from a Rev 1 to a Rev 2, that's simple, right? You already know generally the case size, all that stuff. But it's this early stuff that's kind of fuzzy. Although
some things don't breadboard easily, that they don't veriboard easily. If you need a high pin count, you can get these breakout, the BGA or high pin count QFP to dip packages and stuff like that. But sometimes it's just not worth it. Like sometimes you're just better off getting one of those cheap ass PCBs and just
that's true.
Doing it. Maybe it depends on the tech. But,
I agree. I mean, like sometimes, you need to like when people are doing like those FPGA boards that then have the really high speed like interconnects.
Oh yeah, right.
And then you can build a daughter board for that.
But then you usually know what you're doing. But you usually know what you're doing. If you're jumping, if that's your first project and you're doing high speed differential pairs and whatnot, then you're doing pretty well.
No, I agree. So. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, so I was watching that Great Scott video though, because I've been thinking about, and this kind of ties to your power supply project, but I've been thinking about doing like a portable power supply. That's what I'm kind of interested in. Now, I don't care if it plugs into the wall.
We're working on that again, by the way.
Oh, you are? Oh, great. Okay. So
we were going to brainstorm it today. Oh. But David's not in today.
I was going to say, like,
so
bring it
it'll
to the
probably
camera,
be tomorrow.
Right? Just like come into the frame. Okay, and that's the micro supply, right?
That's the micro supply.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. Well, hey, I'm here to brainstorm, man. If you want to brainstorm, the thing I'm wondering about with this is like, okay, So power envelope really matters quite a bit, it feels like. I was thinking like,
yeah.
I was thinking about like, what are the upper rails that I want there to be? So maybe like, 30 volts is pretty standard on a bench supply, but then
but you don't need
You don't need it
I would
usually.
like. I'd be happy with 15 as long as it could go to 12. I'd be happy as long as it could cover 12.
Okay, and so
That's pretty typical.
yeah, but you wanted so then like what about incremental in between then? So like 0.1 volt
Well,
steps,
isn't it a
0.01
fully
volt.
variable supply?
I don't know. I mean, I'm asking you about microsupply as well. I mean, like, so
Well, yeah, we haven't brainstormed. We're going to brainstorm from the start.
you're
gonna
going to
go,
start over. I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're going to.
I mean, so
start
like
over.
the thing that I was thinking about with all this stuff is kind of looking at what I could get in the marketplace and stuff like that. And so that Great Scott video, he actually did offline switcher to 12 volts, and I'll link that in too. Let me put it in
Is it? So he's done a power supply.
Yeah, it was just a simple one, and so
okay.
And so it was a
have to watch it.
offline to 12 volts, and then the 12 volts he put into LTC 3780, right? And so there's this breakout board you can buy off eBay for like $20, and it's so it's basically just huge inductor. It's four transistor buck boost, so it's just a controller from Linear Tech. May they rest in peace. And then so basically, and then I can do, I forget what it can do on the output. It can do a pretty significant swing, but then it's just programmable with a potentiometer, right? So basically, you can do current limiting, you can do
so how did
programming.
How did he digitally adjust the voltage? Did he put in a pot?
No,
like
he didn't. He didn't digitally. So basically,
he actually used a real pot.
Right, he was using a real pot. He wired to the front panel, and I mean it was a really nice build. It basically went into a project box.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. Like the micro supply could even have that. It could have a real pot. But to get a large range, to get resolution on a large range, you really need a multi-turn pot.
Oh, sure. No, I'm not worried about the pot. I mean, it's really more about what I was wondering about with that kind of thing is thinking about, okay, so you've got a DC to DC supply, right? The 12 volt is going to be rock solid, right? Those supplies, I mean, those offline switchers, those things can crank like 20 amps or something, like some significant amount in a pretty small package, maybe 10 amps, but pretty small package. So the things that I think about are like high frequency noise, of course. There's two switching supplies in line with no linear component to knock down noise. There's no filtering as well.
Right.
And excuse me. And then the load, I mean, it doesn't seem like there's a known load, so it seems like there would be a potential, like an unstable situation. Now he talks about some
not really, because that's what the output capacitance does, is keeps it stable with no load.
Okay.
Generally. So no, these things will be stable with no load. That isn't a problem.
Oh, okay. So
that might be an issue.
So that's not
unless
an issue,
it's a really piss poor converter.
Right. Linear Tech stuff I like, so I mean that's fine.
Yeah. The main problem with designing power supplies like this is how do you do the constant current stuff? Mm-hmm. That's the hard part. You can do if you just want a voltage output supply, it's done like that.
Right.
Bang.
Right.
It's just so easy.
Like you're talking about putting feeding that then into a current controller, basically, right?
Yes, and then you've got to have current control. Then and then it's got to seamlessly switch over with no overshoot and everything else from constant voltage to constant current mode when you go into that. And that's a big part of the problem.
Right. And that's what people are used. Yeah. So it's more about expectations of like I'm used to a bench supply that can do that with no problem. You're saying.
Yeah.
I see.
Exactly. Right. Whereas and that's what a portable bench supply does. I mean, I wouldn't want to release one that's just a voltage output. Like it's got to have programmable current limit. Otherwise, it's not really like a bench supply.
Well, this thing does have. I mean, it has a current limit. I'm not sure if it.
It'll have an overload limit, but it's probably not adjustable. You're talking about the Great Scott one.
No, it is adjustable. So it's this LTC module. So that's what. That's what's interesting about it. I'm not sure how it might have other circuitry on board, but this one specifically. Okay. So I have one on order, showing up tomorrow. So I'm going to try it out.
What's the number? Is it the LTC 3780?
It's a 3780. Yep, I think.
I've got the data sheet up here.
Okay.
And it does do current sense. It's got a 10 milliohm current sense resistor, but I don't see programmable.
So this is a module though as well. So
okay, right, okay.
So this thing is called. Right. It's got a really weird name too. It's the same on eBay.
I see that you can buy them on eBay. There's tons of.
Yeah. And so this is not...
Is that kind of the one he used?
So this is
these
called...
eBay...
It's weird, too. So it's automatic pressure lifting power, constant voltage current. It's got this really weird name that doesn't make any sense to me. But it says high efficiency, blah, blah, blah. I mean, and the curve looks great as well.
Send me a link.
Let's see.
So I'm going blind here. Oh,
So this is the Amazon one.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's Amazon. Okay, let me.
So just because I can get cheap shipping, that's the real reason. There's there's a bunch of eBay ones though too.
Oh, they're the same as the one I just saw on eBay.
Okay,
yeah.
Right. And so basically, input you can do like 5 volts to 24 volts, something like that. And you know, so it is a true buck boost. That's nice. And it's got a heat sink on the back. Okay. That's nice too. Yep. But yeah, so it's got. I think the middle pot is the current limit. So I don't know. I'm gonna rip this thing apart tomorrow. Right. We'll see. But
okay. Right.
So what I was wondering about though, so I was looking at a couple of things. One was I was thinking about so now
have they got the circuit for this? Sorry, have they got the?
I haven't.
Does anyone have the circuit for this? Because this is not. Is this a Linear Technology designed module, or is it just somebody's?
This is based off of the reference design. There's like 6 or 7 reference designs in the data sheet.
Oh, in the data sheet.
Yeah,
okay, right.
So,
okay, I'll scroll down.
Yeah.
All right.
And I can actually share with people here on the video chat as well. But yeah, and so I mean it's well. Not very good reviews, but so
this might be a good chip right off the bat for our new brainstorming thing tomorrow, because you kind of do need a buck boost,
right?
Kind of thing. Because
I was looking at that too. So I was looking at like different like supplies that are out there. You can it's easy to get 12 volt supplies, 48 volt supplies. So like 48 volt supplies, I think of like industrial, right? So like industrial, offline that are powering. 24, 48, whatever, you can just plug that right in and go. 12 volt, you can get it off a PC power supply if you really wanted to, right? I mean, and those things at significant currents too. That's what's crazy about it. So
right,
yeah,
interesting.
So yeah, it's probably a good starting place. I was looking at, and that's the other thing too. I was looking at last night I was searching through a bunch of different data sheets, and the current limits seem like they're pretty low as well. I was also searching for low noise, right? And so that's when they start to actually go through the linear region on the FETs and then give up some efficiency for less square wave, bang bang, turn on and off kind of stuff. So
yeah, but so you either have to filter the crap out of it. Is it a fixed frequency, or is it one of these variable frequency jobbies?
It's variable frequency, yeah.
Okay, yeah, that makes it a little bit harder.
Right. But yeah, you need to put like some huge L's and C's on the output.
Or the only other way to do it is to have some sort of track-in regulator on the output.
Sure, yeah. And then you give up efficiency for that.
Into the linear. But if it's a tracking one, then you're only losing you can use a low dropout regulator, and you could only have the input like 500 millivolts above the output or something like that. You could.
Oh, when you say tracking, you mean you have it floating on the power rail or something?
No, by tracking I mean the input to the linear regulator tracks a volt or two above the output of the linear regulator. I actually did this in one of my original micro supply designs.
Interesting.
It just so that you limit, so you gain the advantage of the I could probably maybe pull up. Too hard to pull up the schematic. The advantage of the low dropout. Sorry, the advantage of the low noise linear regulator, but you also get the decent efficiency, because it's not like you got to feed in 12 volts to the linear reg and get 3.3 volts out, and you piss away all that power.
So is that a special part though, or what is that?
No. You can. There's ways to do it. You can. I did it with a transistor follower or something before the linear amp. I can't remember. It was
so you just look up tracking linear power, tracking
linear regulator, and you'll probably if you search it on YouTube.
Google
I
Images.
think I did a specific video on that.
Folks.
I think one of my 15-part video series was doing the tracking pre-regulator.
Right.
Search YouTube right now for a tracking pre-regulator. It's probably there. Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, we've been ignoring our chat people.
Yeah, sorry.
This is supposed to be like a live interactive.
I know we're not very good at that stuff. I always forget.
Yeah, here we go. Okay, well let's go. We pissed away half the show, so let's.
What do you mean? Well, this is good, Dave. We're talking about electronics. Come on, man.
Mark's gone already.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
He's
So
got,
Smitty-
yeah, I know.
Smitty
It's
Halibut,
probably the
yeah,
best technical stuff we've had for a while. Will there be more videos for the micro supply? Asked Rob Morley. No, until it's finished,
Until it's done,
and then I'll do after the fact.
Right. Me and
There's
Dave,
no
me
way
and
I'm
Dave
gonna-
have commiserated about that before. Showing
Yes, we have.
showing how the sausage is made. People say that phrase about
Yep.
you don't want to see
Yep.
how it's made. Some people do want to see how it's made, but they also like telling you how it should be done better.
Exactly, and it's just I was just inundated.
Yeah.
I could not handle the amount of emails and comments and other things
Well,
I got.
I mean, that thing is
in
different now too,
regards to-
though, right? So you also now have David to work with, right? So that's like
Yeah.
before it was like,
Yeah.
oh, well, let's do this as like a back and forth kind of thing. But
Hmm.
instead of having one person to bounce an idea off of, you had, I don't know, how big's your forum?
Well,
2,000 people at a time?
I wasn't even doing that. It was just like, oh, here's my hobby project, and I thought I'd just shoot video as I went and did it. And hobby projects always change. You know, it's not like I was doing a professional design where I
Sure.
set the specifications and I rigidly follow it and, you know, all that sort of stuff. It was just me dicking around, and a lot of people didn't like that. They didn't understand, you know, why I was dicking around and changing my mind all the time. Is because that's just how I wanted to do it. I was just having fun, and a lot of people didn't understand that. So that didn't go down too well.
Yeah, well, can't please them all.
Yep. Anyway,
Yeah.
Dave, any interest in doing a tutorial demo covering protection devices, PTCs, NTCs, MOVs, GDTs, crowbars? Yeah, potentially. Yeah, we
That's a good
could.
idea. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been meaning to do one on input protection. So that would be PTCs and GDTs and other, you know,
Right. PTC is positive temperature
PVS
coefficient. If
diodes
people don't know, that's-
PTC. It's a misnomer because it's
Right.
a varistor.
right.
Is
Right.
its proper name, but it's a varistor with a positive temperature coefficient, so they just call them PTCs, and it actually has nothing to do with. It has
Well,
nothing to do with.
it's just the behavior of how
actual
it does
device.
it, though, right? So it's instead
Yes,
of
it's the
when it
behavior
gets
of how it does it.
it's when it's got too much
Yeah.
power through it, then it turns on. Whereas an
It
NTC
increases resistance. No, it's always on. It increases resistance. So it's
right.
nominally when it's cold
Right.
and there's no current flowing through. It's like a
Right.
one K or 2K.
non-linear, right? How about that?
So
yeah,
yeah.
right. But
Yep.
the thing to know is that you do PTC when you want it to protect from overloading at
Yes.
the later on, whereas NTC you do that if you want to make sure you don't have too much current at the beginning, because then it's
Right.
because you could have
But
big
that's
current
not-
dump
yeah,
going
that's
into
not
capacitors or
protection.
something, right?
Thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, yep. And so I've covered a few of these. Like
Yeah,
I've
crowbars.
covered-
I remember you doing something on, right? No.
Oh, I don't know. I did like a multimeter input protection
Oh, okay.
video, which specifically just covered all the input protection devices for a meter, but
Yeah.
not in general electronics,
Right.
because it changes depending on what you're trying to do. I did a teardown the other day, and it used TVS diodes, but specifically ones designed for the telecoms
Oh.
industry.
Yeah.
They were a specific telecom part, you know. And if you're designing telecoms gear, like big incoming lines, they could have lightning strikes or people shorting crap out on at their home. You know, you don't want all that. You know, so they're specific devices. So it changes a lot. If you're just trying to protect against ESD, that's another requirement again entirely.
Yep,
It's
yep.
just there's so many variations.
There are.
It's
And
almost
and it's tough
too
for
hard
people.
to put in one video.
It is, and I think the hard thing is usually like. So, do you remember when I was there? And remember, was it not Garrett? Was that who was showing us around the dinosaurs the robots and dinosaurs?
Gav.
That's right, Gavin. Yeah.
Gav.
Yeah. So remember he was talking about he was showing he talked about that system of like the visual storage, and what he was talking about.
Yeah.
He said the benefit of this is it's a visual profiler, so that you can basically remember, oh, I have an M3 screw over here, right? And it's like you have this inventory. I think about it the same thing there, where it's like you have to kind of learn how each of these things works individually, so that when you encounter a new problem, you're like, oh, well, an MOV might be good here, or a PTC might be good here. You know,
They're part of your visual building block, your mental building block of parts.
Right.
You know.
And that's unfortunately, like, you just gotta build it up over time. You know, like like you're saying, each of these things probably PTC NTC could be its own video, right? Where you get get Shario to do like an hour long of
I mean, they're not even
experimentation.
You know.
Yeah.
Anyway,
there any
Bob,
materials-
Rob asked, "Do I know general specs I'm looking for?" No, we're just going to brainstorm it.
Was he talking about the micro
He's
supply?
talking about the micro supply, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I guess the other thing too is that like I wonder about the noise stuff too. Like I'm always surprised that some of these switching supplies are lower noise than I expect, but then you also have to track them over their load as well, right? Because
Oh
sometimes,
yeah, it changes. Yeah.
right, yeah, because the switches kick on more or less. So,
And the higher your current, the less effective your output caps become and stuff like that. It's
Right,
in
right,
combination with your inductors and in combination with the frequency, which might change with load as well. It's like it's all over the shop.
right.
So
So you
yeah.
think though 12 volt out? That's what I was going to ask.
I
you too,
would
so-
be happy with 12 volts, like
Yeah. But
for a
yours is
little
completely
portable
decoupled, though.
supply.
That's the idea,
Because
right?
this is not a bench supply, right? This is designed to be a portable little supply you just have on your desk or you take with you. You throw it in your backpack or whatever,
Yep.
right? And I'd be happy with 12 volts because most electronic stuff you're going to be dealing with, you don't need more than 12 volts.
Yeah.
Like it just
Well, yeah.
doesn't
If you do, you probably should be at a bench, right? I mean, that's kind of
you
what it comes
probably
down
should
to.
be at a bench and have a real supply, and you probably need 3 amps or something, you know.
Right. Well, and so that's the thing I was thinking about too. Is that so this supply? What I started thinking about, and what I talked to former guest Jason about, right? So Jason Sorundolo, USB. He does USB-C stuff, right? And I was always really jazzed on the idea of USB-C. If you could get that to kick out at the right, if you had the proper supply, you could get 20 volts at 5 amps. I still haven't seen
Yes.
anything that uses that much. He did the Easy Bake Oven, right? So
Yep, that's right. Yep, I think we talked about that on the show, didn't we? We talked about
Yeah, I have to go back and
maybe
listen.
having a supply that connected. That was the original idea from my micro supply when I first started it. Oh, was it before the EEV blog? I don't
really?
know.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, because I can remember I was working at Altium, and the editor of Silicon Chip magazine happened to be dropping by because he, hangs out there occasionally. Just
Because what else is there to do in Australia in the electronics industry?
Right. Well, he isn't far away, right?
I
They're
know,
both on the northern beaches, right? So he dropped by, and he knew I was working there, so he found my cubicle and he dropped by and wanted to say hi. And I happened to have my little micro supplier with me, and I showed it to him and said, "Oh, I'm thinking about, maybe I'll actually, submit this as an article in Silicon Chip." And he was, "Wow, yes, we need that," and it just never.
For free.
We
don't want to pay you either.
I changed the design again, and then, it was but it was supposed to be USB powered. That was the original idea. It's simply you plugged in your USB port, and it gave you variable voltage, variable current display up to the limit of your USB port capability.
So that's
and that
what
was
I
it.
was.
But,
so I was thinking about this whole thing because of this thing, because the analog discovery, right? So that's what I've been using a lot lately, and I wanted to build one for that, but basically extending. They only have plus minus 5 volts. But I'd actually like to have that track up to maybe to 50 volts, but I don't. That's probably too much.
Oh God,
maybe 25 volts though. Like
that's even too high.
I know, but like I'm just saying that like as like an upper limit, but really it's about the power delivery stuff, right? So you actually this thing can do I think 2 watts if you have it plugged in with the DC jack, but I never
but
use
not
that,
with
right?
the USB.
Yeah, because USB standard's only 2.5 watts, right? So wait,
but I don't still have anything that has a USB-C thing like.
Oh, well, you don't have a MacBook Pro, Dave.
No, I don't have a MacBook. Like, so USB-C is like, in theory, it sounds great, but like,
well,
geez, if I don't have one, then,
right.
I can't even use my own
The real thing I think about with all this stuff is my thinking about this is actually as a travel device, right? So, yeah, you're going to have some kind of like, some realistic expectations. Yeah, it might be a little bit bulkier than you want it to be. It's not going to look like an Apple product, whatever, no big deal. But like, if I could legitimately plug my charger in that I use for my MacBook, right, and that's 68 watts, and it could get all 68 watts into this power supply, and then it converts it properly, that'd be a best case scenario, I think, because you're never going to get stopped at an airport for a power supply for a computer, right?
Right.
So, but what I really think about, I remember micro supply, you were talking about having a battery, like switch battery thing.
There'd be a battery thing, and
and
it'd be charged.
Bigger and bigger batteries, it's like, all right, well, that starts to look a little bit more and more shady, right? I mean, maybe not.
But the whole idea with the battery one is that you can use it anywhere. Like, you don't have to plug it in. Like if I'm working at my desk here, I often, if I'm doing a PC-based project or whatever, working on the desk, I'm running out of PowerPoints. I don't want to scramble under the desk, find another bloody PowerPoint for just a power supply, right? it's just pain in the ass. So
Yep. Yeah, no, I agree.
That's going to be our focus.
Yeah.
So, yep.
So Sebastian asked, would you be powering it with like something like an 18650, right? So we had talked about
Yeah.
the DIY Powerwall.
The last design I did had an 18650.
It's just one of them.
Well, actually, I did two previous designs, which are on my YouTube channel. One used an 18650, another one used a square prismatic cell.
Another battery,
Similar. Yeah, a little bit. It was. I went for a little portable one that had a little tiny custom.
Got it.
Square cell.
But still only like the 3.7 volt output kind of thing.
No.
Or stacked.
It would actually boost. It'd boost. So it'd be a single cell. It'd be a single 3.7 volt cell, and then it could boost up to 12 or whatever and go completely adjustable.
I see.
Yep.
And so when you say adjustable too, you mean to have it linearly, like have a linear adjuster on the end, or you would actually have it adjustable on the switcher?
Depends on the topology being used.
Yeah.
So it doesn't necessarily need to use a switcher. Yeah. So
interesting. Yep.
Oh yeah, no. I think my last design I had a programmable boost converter that boosted it up, and then I had followed that with a tracking linear regulator
to knock off the peaks.
And you just didn't worry about having buck and boost, because if you wanted to, because it was only 3.7 volts. So if you wanted to output 1.5 volts, for example, you just didn't worry about, doing the negative, like a switcher, a buck switcher. You just didn't worry. You just missed away the extra power. Yeah. You just simply bypassed.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yep.
Yeah,
because if you switch the switcher off, then it's just a diode straight through. It's just a diode bypass.
Right. Yep.
So you can switch. You can physically switch the switcher off and then just feed it straight into the linear regulator if you want lower than your battery voltage.
Got it. That makes sense. Yeah, and then that would be a super clean signal then. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you could physically switch the switcher off. Yeah.
Yeah, that's an interesting idea. So, and then it's just a capacity thing, right? How much current could you get out of the battery? And then
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool. That's a good idea.
Exactly. So 18650s, because they're the industry
people pretty much should be using these for everything. Like
well, except for the fact that volumetrically they're quite
awkward,
inefficient. Yeah, because they're cylinders, right? Yeah. So you can't pack them in.
But I think but like those clips, you can now get like the clips that are you can actually solder into your circuit board.
My X-splitter stopped working.
Oh no, Dave! Do you not pay for a license?
Whoa!
You should just. All right,
Hang on.
Our first thing here, Dave. You should just switch it in. You don't even use it. Just switch it in Skype.
No, hang on.
Well, anyways, I was talking about projects where I've seen a couple where the clips actually solder into the board. And so it's a super low cost thing as well. You don't need to actually get like a plastic holder. I thought I remember seeing one where it was just metal clips soldered directly into the board that could actually hold and transfer charge from a 18650. So.
Right.
And Brian Benchoff says, "Hello, Brian Benchoff." He says, "Great, we now just have Chris to look at." He's not wrong. All right, Dave's back.
I'm back, am I?
Yep.
I'm back. All right, sorry about that. It's still loading. I don't know. Oh, there we go. Yep, I'm back. I have no idea. Maybe it was because it was recorded at the same time. Yeah. So, I don't know. Well, anyway, I'm back.
I think we're doing pretty good from a tech perspective. I think
first live show. This is pretty good.
Yeah.
Yes, pat on the back, us.
Yes.
Yeah. So that was not my connection. That was just XSplit doing, I don't know, my PC. And I'm running Windows 7 with XSplit. I don't know.
Yep.
Who knows? So, yep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and I lost my YouTube feed as well.
Oh, no big deal.
So I have to get that back. Anyway. Oh, no. There's the chat. Still there. Hello, people.
Yeah. So should we switch the list, or we're good on...
Yeah, maybe we should. Hey, I tell you what. I've got a peeve. Can we have the...
I was like, can't you hold it? 20 more minutes, Dave. 20 more.
Can you pull up, because you're the one doing the feed?
Sure, yeah.
Pull up a photo. Pull up an image of the Rigol constant.
I
Rigol
saw this on your Twitter feed. Yeah.
Load. Yes. The Rigol load. I can't see the number.
Yeah.
The 3102 or something. 3012 or something. Hello, that's my Twitter feed.
There's your Twitter feed.
Oh, there we go.
Is this just about the fonts? Is that the one?
Yeah, it's just like, can you zoom out the image? Can you? Yeah, look at this. Look at how many fonts are there. I think somebody counted 4 or 5. Look at the reverse italics.
Yeah, I saw that. That was my favorite one that matches.
Oh,
so people that are just listening, Dave has a picture on his Twitter, which we'll link in, of course. But it's like the button is like a parallelogram, and it's instead of the parallelograms shifting to the right, and then the italics also shifting to the right like normal. Well, yeah, nope, no, the other way.
It shifts to the left, and the italics is leaning to the left, and it's just like my mind just exploded, and like I was like almost going to have a fit. Yeah. You know, because and then look at the function font. Like, what the hell is going on there? Like, it's just nuts.
Right.
Like, absolutely.
Dave the typographer.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Like, even I know that's bad. Like,
right. That's probably the best measure.
I know nothing about. Right. Yeah. So anyway, we can switch back now. Okay. That was pretty horrific. Yeah. So I should have done a first impressions video because I just took it out of the box. I was sitting on the floor playing with the damn thing, and I was going, it doesn't have this, doesn't have this. Why doesn't it have this? Why? You know? Yeah. Like, anyway.
So this is for testing like solar cells, stuff like that.
It's a load.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's a load. So if it's
it can actually do 150 at 40 amps. It can do 150 at what, amp and a half or something. 200 watts.
It's a completely adjustable load, so it can do
right. I just mean like the envelope, though, right? So like the
the power. Well, the power envelope is the total power, so it's a 200 watt.
Okay.
So as long as you keep within the 200 watts,
right? If you're 150, you only get 1 amp, right?
Yeah. Yes. For example, 1.25 or something. Yeah.
I don't know if it really matters here, Dave, but you are super laggy. So just so you know.
I'm super laggy, am I? Okay, sorry.
Yeah. Oh well.
Anyway,
at least we have your dulcet tones in our ears.
But we can still hear each other. The audio's not
it's switched
lagging,
back, so it's good now. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Very good.
Yep.
Have you been watching Keysight's YouTube series on oscilloscope front ends? Oh, no.
I have not. I have actually been watching. I've been actually surprisingly their Instagram channel. Like I've watched some of their videos.
Really?
But like, yeah, their Instagram channel is like not bad. I don't understand Instagram as like an electronics.
I don't understand Instagram at all.
Well, you use it now, though. I'm just saying that, like,
I do use it,
but as like reaching users, though, like,
yeah.
I don't know. I guess we're on there, but maybe it's cheaper.
Yeah, I'm on there. It's just It's just because I figure, like, if I feed it through Instagram, then it'll automatically feed to my Twitter as well.
Sure,
so
I get that.
I may as well create a,
Right.
Yeah. I basically have it for free. It doesn't require any extra effort on my part.
Mm-hmm.
So are Keysight the ones that have been are finally maybe getting a YouTube channel right? Perhaps, because usually corporate YouTube channels suck ass.
Right. Well, I love stuff like this. This is like technical content, right? So like, this is the stuff that I used to try and put out technical content for Splyframe stuff. I remember Matt, the guy from Analog Devices. Do you remember? Did you ever watch any of his stuff? He was an analog guy from Analog Devices.
Yes, Matt. What's his name?
Yeah, I don't remember.
Matt.
But it was like a whiteboard where he was writing backwards
he'd
on
be on
a
whiteboards.
screen.
Yeah.
That
Matt,
stuff is great.
Duff,
I think.
Matt
Duff. Yeah, I think that's it.
Matt,
but that kind of stuff is just, I mean, like...
Yeah, he did some good videos.
That's great. And if there's people listening that are FAEs and stuff like that, like that kind of stuff, I mean, this Keysight stuff is great because it's basically, it's like having an FAE, but in YouTube. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, this is the kind of stuff that they would come in and do seminars for, but I don't get that anymore. Dave doesn't get that anymore, you know?
Is that the trend? No, but is that YouTube is called YouTube. Right, it's about you. It's about the individual.
Is that right? Guy who makes his living, YouTube.
Yeah, you. It's me.
But I mean, I think
people watch my YouTube channel for me.
I don't think so. I think it's a distribution channel like any other social media thing. I don't think that's
no. That's for your general searchers. But for people who subscribe and watch religiously, they watch because of the person. That's why these corporate YouTube channels, no matter how good they are, not just in our industry but any industry, they get zero traction. Zero, no matter how good they are. And people just don't seem to want to follow a corporate YouTube channel.
I guess so. I follow the DigiKey one because they do like they're not very good. They're like product releases, but it's really just it's like a feed. It's like a feed of like what's new because if they're making a video about it, they're probably getting money to talk about it, whatever.
But no one goes, "Ooh, Keysight or DigiKey's released a new video. I've got to watch." I missed
the latest one. Yeah, I know, right? I'm gonna sit down with my cup of cocoa.
No, people, it's called it's
right.
YouTube for a reason.
No,
Sorry,
I get all that. You're right. You're right about that. But at the same time, if you're already there, and it's similar content, I don't really care.
Well,
I might or might not follow it. I don't know. I'm very fickle, Dave. I'm very fickle. Yeah.
Any other questions? Come on, fire it at us. It'll take 10 seconds to come through, I'm sure. But
yeah. Well, we'll keep doing that.
We've got like 10 minutes left or something.
I know. But this has been a good experiment so far.
By. Yeah, this has been good. Well, we'll get feedback. How many viewers we got?
We were up to like 24, I thought.
25 watching 24. Now. Yep. 6 thumbs up.
All right. Yeah, we don't have many followers on the YouTube channel either.
No,
so we'll put a link in the notes as well. We do have show notes.
So we both tweeted it. We both tweeted it, but
but
like
people wouldn't get the net message about it unless they were subscribed to the YouTube channel.
Unless they're exactly.
I don't know, Dave. It's YouTube. YouTube, Dave.
It's YouTube. No, that's.
Yeah, I know. It's fine.
I can't believe you don't subscribe to that viewpoint. That YouTube is all about the person, the personality of the channel.
I don't disagree with that. I'm obviously talking to a large personality. A bit of bluster.
Seriously, tell me a corporate YouTube channel in any field.
Oh, we have an example that we used to cite all the time, and then it flopped on them. Remember NI's old channel?
Yeah, but no, people didn't even care that was National Instruments. People watched it for him. What's his name? Sorry, I forget his name.
I don't remember either. That was like 6 years ago now. It was a long time ago.
7 years ago. It was the channel died like a year after I started my channel. He was like, I looked up to that going, wow, imagine if I could get as many viewers as he got, and he just left the company and gave it up because NI owned. What was the name of it?
Engineering something. It was at Engineering the title.
The Engineering Mind. Yeah. So NI owned the name.
Yeah.
So he just stopped doing it.
Yep.
So he was like the biggest thing back 8 years ago or whatever, and it was but people watched.
But that was early days, though.
Not watch it because it was National Instruments. In fact, it wasn't the National Instruments channel; it was on the Engineering Mind channel.
That's a good point. Yep.
They set up there. No one would have watched it if it was on the National Instruments.
Well, regardless, I think this stuff is like solid technical content like this. I think it's good that they're filming it.
It's great.
Totally. I hope they get a really clear shot of the whiteboard and really good audio. That's all I ask. Yep. Just audio. just get everything else wrong. Just give me the audio.
Everyone's talking Bob Pease. Yeah. See, National Instruments used to have Bob Pease. They used to have a show.
Yeah.
But even that, I think, would not be hugely successful. As entertaining as Bob Pease, as awesome as he is, if it has the corporate feel and it's on the corporate YouTube channel, it just puts people off.
I will agree with you on that. I will concede.
Thank you.
Yep.
What do we think of Diode magazine? I think I'm amazed. I've done a video on it.
Yeah.
I'm amazed that I thought I'd never see another new electronics magazine.
Well, we do that,
especially
but what's the actual output
again.
of it? Like, is it any good?
Right. It's very well produced because the guy who produces it his day job is still he runs a graphic design company, right? So that's his day job, and he's an engineering hobbyist, right? So he's got the electronics hobby. Yeah. It's kind of like it's not his full-time job.
Got it.
Maybe he's hoping it will turn into that, but I don't think so. It's a tough gig. Yeah. He's got some new news on that, actually. He just emailed me the other day. He's getting a better price for overseas subscriptions and stuff like that.
Oh, great. So maybe get some distribution
anyway, it's very well produced. It's not very technical, but, it's fine.
I think it's more nostalgic at this point, right? I mean, like, you can get tons of technical content online. You can get literally an unlimited amount online. So it's not like it's going to be that one source. right? It's not like
But
Diode is coming to
yeah.
Dave and be like, "Oh, please only publish with us." He's not going to do that anymore,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So
No, but I think I said this in my video.
Jesus,
I think
sorry.
the place still for the magazine is to put on your resume, right? It's like they should be very selective about the projects that they publish, and because it only comes out once a month, it's pretty infrequent,
Sure.
right?
Right. Yeah, there's still something
then,
about being like
you
a
know,
primary source, right?
yeah,
That's
yeah,
like a thing.
they can be the standard. It's like if you get your project published in there, you've made it, right? You can put it on your resume, and it's a big deal,
Yep.
right?
Yeah. No,
So
that makes
yeah,
sense.
as it was back in the day, I still think there's something to that these days. It's yeah.
Cool.
So
yeah.
I think there's still a future there. Do the math on Ubeam. I know Chris hates Ubeam,
I do.
but I did another video.
I
on
love
the
Brian
second
Benshoff
chapter.
though, and you gotta read the rest of this though.
Oh, hey, Brian! Didn't realize it was Brian. Do the math on Ubeam, but instead of ultrasonics, it's an insane stereo system in a '96 Honda Civic.
This is why we can't do a live show. Brian Benshoff is why we can't do a live show. If people don't know, Hackaday, Brian Benshoff.
Brian
Friend-
Benshoff,
friend of
your
mine,
former colleague,
Yes, he's the Hunter S. Thompson of Hackaday. That's what I call
right?
him.
Is he stalking you? He's stalking you,
I'm pretty sure he's been a troll on our site more than once. I'm sure. So.
right? Yep.
Yeah.
What
Anyways.
would be a good way to reduce the switching noise when buying a module like the one you were showing? Measure its frequency first, put a scope on it, measure its switching frequency under different loads and see if it's a fixed or a variable frequency first. If it's a fixed frequency, then you can tune an LC filter to do that at,
Right, and most of the stuff people are doing is probably going to be pretty. You could it's probably more of a question of can it handle an LC on the output, right? Because like we talked about at the top, if it's balanced and it's got a good, it's got the capacitance
Feedback stability
calculated,
and
right?
stuff.
So so if you start to mess with that, you potentially could.
But that's the whole point of and modules are different to bench supplies. Bench supplies are supposed to be handle any load you can throw at
Of course. Yep.
So, but modules might be much more picky, right?
Yep.
So, yeah. But usually an LC filter, is not going to hurt it. And then you could just do, a real higher frequency one that just takes off the just the high frequency stuff. It depends how low you want to get it. You're never going to get it as low as a linear reg, right? It's just,
right.
Really,
Right.
that's
you want low noise, burn some power. Right.
It's a high order.
Yeah.
Get it?
Yeah.
High order. Need a high order filter. Yeah, got it.
Okay, let's go to the list real quick because I wanted to call out this friggin' fantastic article. It was a National Geographic article, but it's about the Netherlands and showing so you got to scroll down to the second picture, right? At first I'm like, am I looking at solar panels? Oh, I could show it here in the screen. But is this solar panels? You can see it on my screen if you want, Dave, too. That is actually greenhouses. That's what's crazy about this thing.
They are greenhouses, yeah.
It's like
doing what?
It's a sea of greenhouses. So basically, Netherlands is doing all of this high-tech agriculture, basically, and doing hothouse, growth for every type of vegetable, stuff like that. Nothing new in that regard, but just in terms of the amount of tech that they're doing. But the really crazy thing is that this is a family farm. That shit blows my mind. And so it's just
how far does that extend?
I know
into the
it just
distance?
keeps going. I want to see the.
How do you build that? That's tens of millions of dollars to build all that, at least.
I mean, I'm guessing you build it in batches, but
in batches.
They're talking family farms are doing this kind of stuff because in terms of having stuff out there. But
how is it high tech? How does it?
So you keep scrolling down. You see so all the stuff is LED controlled, right? So everything's LED controlled, right? They're going off.
So they're the grow lamps, are they? That's what
right.
they are?
Yep.
Right. Jeez, imagine the power.
Exactly, right. But then you also start pulling in renewable stuff, and then you start talking about some of the monitoring that they do. They do
look inside.
I mean, these are gorgeous photos, too. So
and they're tall, too.
Exactly.
They've got you need a ladder to get up to the top levels.
Right. And so, this stuff is legitimately high-tech stuff. These are actually... This is chicken. Sorry, this is incubator here. But just all of these pictures, I mean, it's National Geographic, so they've still got amazing stuff. There's some video interviews with all of the master students that are working out there as well. And so but all the monitoring they're doing, all that stuff. We had a listener write in about. So there's also stuff about cow milking and stuff like that too. There was actually a fully automated farm. I think we're able to share it. but it was a fully automated farm up in like the northern Midwest, and like so the cow walks in. Maybe we talked about this. Did we talk about this or no?
Yeah. I think it does ring a bell.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just I think ag tech stuff. I'm super excited about it. Like my new job might be a little bit of ag tech stuff, but I think it's super exciting from the perspective of like what it makes possible in terms of, you know, better food production. Obviously, you know, there's distribution issues and stuff like that too, but you know, they do a ton of geothermal stuff too. Oh man, it's just like so much cool stuff. I'm very excited about it. And so I think
to the Netherlands.
Yeah, and I think that there's a lot of opportunity for people that are you know, in the electronic space too, for you know, that some of it is this you know, you got to get sensors, you got to get all that stuff going and doing that nicely, but like I just think there's a lot of projects that could really benefit there. So yeah,
cool,
great article.
Right, another article which I wanted to do is Edward Snowden.
Oh yeah,
and our good mate Buddy.
Yep.
Huang. They teamed up and they've written this paper and actually published this very extensive paper. We'll just link it in. And it is ridiculous about the security of mobile phones and stuff. And they've gone in and they've hacked phones to test security. And I haven't read the whole thing yet because it is very extensive. And it's just, it's great.
Yeah. Right. So
anyway, if you're into mobile phone security,
they're checking to see if you're getting monitored. So they have external monitoring on iPhones, basically. I think that's kind of the basis of it all. So so are you being watched? You need some kind of external monitor to do that. So pretty neat stuff. That's
very cool.
Yeah, and Buddy wanted to talk about it. He was not able to talk about it when he was on the show last. I think he had finished the work with Snowden, but they had not published it yet, I guess. So
right, yep. Yeah. So there's a lot of effort's gone into publishing this.
Yeah.
So, wow. Yep.
I wanted to call out this one. Have you seen this video? This is actually a great one. This is from, I forget his name. Crud. Strange Parts. Basically.
Oh yes.
He added a jack back onto the.
Added a jack. It took him a couple of months or whatever through China, but he managed to, and he designed his own flex board.
Right.
And
it kind of showed his progress in terms of soldering as well. I think his Scott. I forget his name. Sorry.
Yeah. I Strange Parts is his YouTube channel. He's only got 2 videos up. One where he made his own iPhone in China, from scratch, and one where he added the headphone jack. Yeah. Very cool. I've actually subscribed to his channel now. Yeah. So I hope he publishes more stuff. It's very cool. Watch it. Just it's fascinating. It's a fascinating insight into Shenzhen and getting stuff done and things like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
What else is on here? We're running out of time. We are running out of time.
We are over time, I think.
Yeah. This is interesting. So I get this newsletter regularly. PCH has a newsletter around.
Who's PCH?
PCH does manufacturing, so that's Liam Casey, and they were based out of Ireland, but then they also have Highway 1. That's their that's one of the accelerators or startup thingies in San Francisco, but then they've also got a bunch of manufacturing overseas. Anyway, so this is a newsletter that I get. It's called Hardware Weekly, and so it's just a lot of good stories around the. I mean, this is where I source some of the stories around for the Amp Hour and stuff like that. But the interesting thing here is kind of if you look at the funding news, right? So I don't really put too much, credence into what I'm reading here, but it's just kind of interesting to see this week to week to week, right? So what they do is they track what hardware companies are actually raising money and how much, right? And so like the one that surprised me on the list this week was John Deere purchased smart robotics company Blue River Technology for $300 million. Like I hadn't heard about that at all, right?
If people don't know, John Deere is a farm tractor company.
Right.
They make tractors.
That's right. And
John Deere tractors.
And so
that murders weeds with AI.
Yeah. John Deere spent $300 million on a company that murders weeds with AI, right? And so it's like,
right.
And so, the argument against John Deere these days is John Deere gets a lot of crap because they're the ones where they lock down their firmware. They say you don't own these tractors.
You don't even own your tractor anymore.
$400,000 though, right? I mean that's the crazy thing.
Yeah.
Because they want to make sure.
That's probably why they're worth billion or whatever, and they can afford to spend $300 million buying a company.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, this is
locking
big
every bastard
business.
in.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Exactly. I mean, that's the thing about farming that's interesting too. That's why that farming, the Netherlands thing was interesting to me, is because if it actually is possible to get that automation at a smaller level, then smaller farmers can start to compete with these, multinationals, because that's the way that agriculture is going. So, anywho,
cool.
So there's other things that are getting funded. There's always stuff in here about robotics, drone vision analysis, autonomous drones, home service robots, like and all these things. Like these things I've never heard of. Rubo, a Chinese maker of home service robots, rolled out a $53 million Series B. Like, okay. There's all this stuff that's just under the surface, and unfortunately, VC news is one of the few ways to get visibility into it, or like this.
There's so much money just floating around. It's just insane.
Well, it's just... you can you could get 120 million and flush it down a toilet. Yes, a moment of silence, Dave.
Flush it down your juicer.
That's right. A moment of silence for Juicero.
They just died in the ass, and it was inevitable. It was inevitable. You could have bet your life that company was going to fold.
I was talking to someone today. How many juices? And maybe AVE talked about this, because he did that great teardown of it too about the Wi-Fi. How many juices could you have bought for 120 million? At $12, you could have bought 100.
Yeah, I know.
You could have bought 10 million of them, right? So if you paid $12 per juice, 10 million juices for people.
I tweeted that the Juicero, because they're going to have to scrap all these, right? All the ones they got in good stock, presumably.
Geez, yeah.
I was going to say that I tweeted that the Juicero will be the 2040s equivalent of the ET game cartridge. Fine. It was like people will be digging these things up in 30 years' time.
Oh, that makes me sad.
Geez, remember this Juicero? Look, we found them.
Oh, man. The machining on it was so nice, though. I mean,
it was it's insane.
Yeah.
It was insane. So that will be interesting to see how they get rid of that, how they dispose of that company. Right?
Yeah, right. Like, what's the shutdown?
Yeah, because presumably they've got all these manufacturers sitting in a warehouse somewhere, and
yeah.
That was dumb.
Let's see. So we've got a couple more questions. Stefan asked, "What happened to my portable lab?" It is currently sitting in my closet. It is. Well, we talked about it before.
He realized it wasn't that practical.
Well, it's definitely not practical from a traveling perspective. I mean, that was an extra suitcase. I used to have 2 rolling suitcases. And now what I've switched over to is the Analog Discovery for in a pinch kind of things. But it's portable lab in terms of having a structured thing. That was the false assumption that it needed to have this fixed setup. Whereas it's you're probably just gonna throw it in a bag anyways. So that's what I really should have done.
It'd be cool if it was a little thin thing like this that just sat underneath your notebook. Or whatever, something like that'd be cool, Oh,
kind of like a 1U.
It's such a niche market.
Not a 1U, but you're talking about rack mount kind of thing that could fit. But the thing is, that's not very practical from a carrying perspective, right? Maybe if it matched the you're saying if it matched the outline of the notebook
of the notebook or whatever, and it was just a centimeter thick or something like that, and
sure.
It had everything built in.
Right, so kind of like that NI digital bench thing, because that's a nice piece of gear.
Yeah, right. Oh, that's a nice bit of gear. Yeah, but it's large, and that's for the bottom of the range model.
Is it really? Oh, geez.
Yeah. I think it goes up to $6 or $8 grand, depending on the bandwidth.
Right,
yeah.
And so basically the thing that I got to is that most of the time I'm not going to be soldering on the road. Most of the time I don't need a full scope, everything else, and definitely doesn't need all of the. If you just throw it in a bag, you don't need to have all the padding because you have it in your possession, right? So,
well, if you're on the road, you've probably already got an existing project you want to work on, and you just want to power it up and write code for it, or
I think the Portalab idea should have been replaced by a electronics go bag, right? That's kind of really the thing, and that's what I have now. It's just a couple boxes of, parts and extra modules and whatever I need. So,
right. Yeah. But you're in a different position because your job or part of your job is to do electronics tutorials.
Sure.
And you're always on the road, so you have a fairly unique need for that sort of thing.
Sure. Yeah. Right. Yeah, most of the time.
And technically, I've got that now with my Microsoft Surface tablet, right, with the pen-based drawing. If I'm on holidays or whatever, and I decide, I want to, or I need to, do a video, I can just do a pen-based tutorial or something like that.
Cool. Yeah.
And so I can churn those out on the beach. It's like
right.
I can be sitting on the beach.
Yeah. Alvin asked TS100. I'm not sure what that refers to.
I have no idea what a TS100 is.
And then Rob Morley asked about our opinions on the iPhone. We are the wrong people to ask about that.
I have no idea what an iPhone even is.
The things that I paid attention to. Really?
It's just serious. Like I've never had. I'm going to have to actually buy one because.
Oh, for the DMM.
Maybe not a new one, because we're developing the app, the 121GW multimeter app, and you need an iPhone to test it on and do the software development, and you need a Macintosh as well.
Oh, wow.
So
you're in for a bit of a bill going to the Cupertino. Huh?
Yeah, I'm just going to buy like a secondhand 6 or something. I don't know.
Okay.
Whatever.
So the thing that we always talk about with this is the thing to pay attention to is what Bunny talks about, right? So when Bunny was on the first time and stuff he's talking about in the past, the reason you look at this is because whatever's in these phones, the sensors that are in these phones specifically, that's the stuff that's going to be like, give it 2-3 years. Those sensors are way cheaper because they're sourcing, people are working on it, they're getting more out in the market, and then you can use that in for further products because they'll become more available. And so I think there was like a new camera, like an interesting like a dot matrix camera mapping thing that they're using for, of course, emojis. Thank God, finally, right? So
just what I've always wanted.
Yeah, well, it's 2017, Dave. So yeah.
I don't even know what emojis are. Like,
don't worry about it.
I'm aware of like on my forum we've got smileys. But when people started talking about these emojis, I went, what the frig are emojis? My phone doesn't even have emojis. Is it only an Apple thing? I don't know. Like, I have no clue.
So I think the other interesting thing is that, and again, like, so the charging stuff, so they're doing wireless over Qi, right? So that's the QI. It's Qi, right?
Oh, are they? They're actually using Qi. Have they made the announcement, have they?
Yes. And
it was cheap because there was a lot of speculation that the new iPhone, they'd had wireless charging, but they thought it'd be a proprietary Apple thing. So they actually went with Qi.
Yeah, actually, the thing that I was expecting that I did not see on here is I thought they were going to switch to USB-C. Oh, and they didn't. What the hell?
No, they still got what's the Apple connector called?
Yeah, the Lightning connector.
Lightning.
Man,
connector.
I was really looking forward to that because if they switch over to the USB-C, then it's like that's it. Then that's all you need, right?
Yeah, no, yeah. Yep.
All this other stuff is, who cares, right? I mean, sure, the new chip is interesting, whatever, blah, blah, blah.
A lot of people put too much focus on the iPhone. You got to remember, the iPhone is not the dominant smartphone on the market. It's got like 15-20% market share or something like that last time I looked. It is not. People think that the iPhone's the only smartphone that exists. It's the industry leader. It's not.
I think about it simply from a they usually lead in terms of cost and in terms of new integrations, right?
They lead in terms of hype.
No, I think
don't know.
They did Bluetooth low energy first. They did Bluetooth 5 first, I think.
Maybe they did the IPS screen first. I don't know. But
yeah, so I'm just saying that it's usually it's just interesting to pay. The only reason to pay attention, in my opinion, is because you got to check out.
Oh no, pay attention for sure, but don't think it's the be all end all.
Oh sure, no, right. That's
their market share is still small.
I don't know if I agree with that, but it doesn't matter to me. So, like I said, just pay attention to the sensors, stuff like that. That's interesting. The other thing that I paid attention to, given my change in employment, the Apple Watch now has not a SIM card. It is now cell connected. So you can now straight Dick Tracy it with an Apple Watch. So right. I think that's personally interesting. I don't know if it changes anything, but
okay, here we go. Oh no, that's 2010. Sorry.
Yeah.
Way out of date.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm trying to look for.
Oh, you're looking for the stats on the phone.
I'm looking for the stats on the iPhone market share. I could be.
Well, while Dave's doing that, I will also mention that a user wrote to me about a meetup that they're having, and this is actually a meetup that they're just doing an electronics meetup. They're also going to be doing a KiCad night that
Here
night.
we go.
It's just a generally electronics meetup. 1 second.
Right.
And I would love if people posted about them just so people can find others in their area. So this one is in Hamilton, Ontario. But if you're starting a meetup, like Dave has a meetup, I have a meetup. I forget his name, Mark, maybe. But there's a meetup there. So if you have a meetup, feel free to post it to the subreddit. We'll help promote it. I think that's really great
Yep.
because nerds getting together, sharing projects, drinking beer, whatever. I think that's really awesome. So,
Yep. Oh, I think I'm going to have another meetup soon.
oh, great.
So, yep. 14.7% market share for the Apple.
Interesting. Wow. Okay.
Samsung
it's still a
have
lot of-
23%.
It's still a lot
which is Android, and then Huawei and Oppo
Huawei.
and Vivo, whoever
Huawei.
the hell they are. Anyway, like, you know, yeah, people think that they own the market. They don't. Not even close. Not even close. So, yep. Although that figure could be wrong, but hey, I got it from somewhere. It's on the internet. Can't be wrong. Must be right.
Where are Wikipedia fact checkers? Come on, man.
Oh dear. Anyway, 2017.
All right. Last
Yeah,
question
verify
from our
this.
audience. Elias asks, how many times have you actually used it to look something up? This
Right, I saw that.
This is not my main copy anymore. I've got the gold one, so yeah. I've got two. Who's got one copy? Please. What am I, an amateur? That's just the one with the good notes in it. I pull that down when I need it. That's the venerated copy. So, all right. You still looking at stats?
I'm still looking at stats. I don't know. It's all too hard.
I'm sure people can look that up. Well, we would love so this video is going to be online and people can watch it if you like this. I mean, like Dave was saying, like maybe we could do this again. I don't know. It's nice to have
Maybe
a
it
little bit
would
of
be a
feedback.
regular thing for this amp hour. Let us know if you want it to be the thing.
Yeah.
And we'll just pull the audio stream out of the YouTube video and then just upload that as the show.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
it's probably foolish just to edit.
We didn't have any like big. We've had some blips in the past. But yeah, I mean.
Anyway, I'm
but the
surprised
main thing
it
would be
held up. I'm gonna.
Yeah, the main thing would be about whether it makes sense if you're interested in participating. Like we might not read the questions every time. I don't know. I don't really personally watch. I've subscribed to a bunch of podcasts that are not that have video that I don't care about. So whatever.
Right.
So yeah.
Cool. Let us know.
Yes, we pulled a 360. Wait, the 360 is the same thing, right? You go all the way around.
It's the same thing. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right.
Did a 180. Right.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, that's it. That's our show.
Okay. Well,
Thanks for joining us all. 20. Has it gone? Have we hit 30? 30 people.
Yeah.
30 people watching. Woohoo!
Maybe more in the future. All right.
Yeah.
See you
Thanks,
next
everyone.
time.
See ya.